Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that until really that period, not only were there multiple state standards, every school system set their own standards. So, depending on where you went to school was what you learned. There was no common core curriculum. And we also, from the survey that I mentioned, we developed standards for philanthropy education. So there are standards and benchmarks, measurable benchmarks for what a student should learn at 5th grade, at 9th grade, and at 11th grade. So they should be able to define philanthropy at kindergarten as the giving of time, talent, and treasure for the common good. And then by 9th grade, they should be able to define it as intended for the common good. So there's the idea of intentionality, and sometimes things go wrong, but you meant for it to be good. And then when you get to high school, it really is about the deeper philosophical pieces of it. I've forgotten exactly how the benchmark's written, but those the benchmarks build. We began with Michigan standards because we frankly thought it was going to be a Michigan program. We had started out looking for a national program to bring to Michigan, and it was when we didn't find one that we decided to do Learning to Give, and we hadn't originally thought that it could go nationwide. So we started by coding it, hand coding it, as in teachers sitting in rooms looking at a lesson plan and saying by hand, actually typing it in, but this fits this code and this code and this code. As the benchmarking system and standardized testing went across the country, probably 5 years into Learning to Give, we were getting more and more national attention, and there became a software company that actually converts the lesson plans. So we were able to put a lesson plan in and standardize it to Michigan, and then it could convert it to all of the other state standards. So now what can happen is a teacher from anywhere can go in, type in the state they're in, and it will give them the converted version of it. So there are 50 versions of 2,000 lesson plans that any teacher can download. And they're downloadable so that the other thing we knew was that no teacher ever teaches the lesson plan the way that's written. They all teach it on the fly, and they have a guide, but they teach it because teaching is an interactive process. And so the lesson plans can be downloaded so that the teachers can just change them in their computers. And nobody cares about ownership.